I have 4 items that I'd like to visit with you and the council about this evening. The first of those is the railroad quiet zone, an update on that. Just as a reminder, the city entered into a contract with the BNSF Railroad in February for a quiet zone that would include all 11 crossings in Edmond. Just by way of background, again, what a quiet zone does. Once the quiet zone is fully implemented, then the trains will not be required to sound their horns in the city limits. The total estimated cost of this project is about $3.5 million. It's entirely the city's responsibility to come up with that funding, and that funding will come from the 2000 capital improvement sales tax. There are 2 main components to the quiet zone project. The first of those is the infrastructure work that needs to be done by the railroad on their tracks. On March 11th, a notice to proceed letter was mailed to the railroad, and some concrete crossing work has been installed at both 1st Street and 5th Street intersections. And I believe starting tomorrow, the 15th Street intersection will also be closed for about a 10-day period, so they can do concrete work on that as well for the quiet zone. They also expect, I believe, to accomplish even more of the concrete work during the month of August. The railroad is designing the railroad signals, and they expect those signal materials for all the crossings to be here in late November, is what they told us. So that's one component to the project. The second component, of course, is the design and construction work that needs to be accomplished by the city on the 11 streets that cross the tracks. Our design engineer for the project is CTC/Freeze Nichols. They submitted 30% plans to our people on the 10th of July, which our people are now reviewing. The 60% plans are due by the 8th of August, and 90% plans are due by October 11th. We'll also send those plans to the BNSF for their review and comments as well. So the Quiet Zone project is definitely moving forward. The second item pertains to 15th and Santa Fe intersection improvement. Work continues on this joint project with Oklahoma City. In May, you formally approved an interlocal agreement with Oklahoma City for the reconstruction of this intersection, with the City of Edmond share to be about $500,000 from the 2000 sales tax for street reconstruction and rehab, and actually this comes from the additional $1 million allocation that we talked to you about in the budget this year that was allocated for concrete replacement. The southern portion of this project is in Oklahoma City, and they have agreed to fund that portion. These improvements will be ADA compliant, and this intersection is also within Phase 3 of the Intelligent Transportation System that is currently under design as well. Our goal was to get this project accomplished before the start of school on August 16th. And ATEC Paving is the contractor. There will still be a need for additional switches in the traffic lanes to remove and replace all the pavement. Right now, the intersection is scheduled to reopen August 29th, but we're still working with the contractor to see if there might be some way to accelerate that time frame. And the third project is the City and Edmond Public Schools Tennis Center. Lots of work going on at this site as well. The groundbreaking for this partnership project was held on February the 6th. Construction project continues on this 23-acre site, which is near the northeast corner of 15th and Kelly. The significant wet weather has put this project behind schedule, and the latest is that they estimate roughly a 5.5-month construction delay at this point. Right now, as you can see, major grading work is occurring, along with a lot of under slab work for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing infrastructure. The general contractor for the project is Key Construction. The total construction contract is $16 million. The city's share of that is about $6.75 million. That comes from the 2017 repurposed sales tax. Just as a reminder, the city also purchased the additional parkland that was needed for this development at a cost of $2.5 million. This will be a state-of-the-art complex that will feature 6 indoor courts, 24 outdoor courts, and including 2 championship center courts. There will also be a comprehensive clubhouse involved, and that would include areas for public use, high school use. There'll be a pro shop involved and also a refreshment lounge. So that project is moving forward now at a much better pace than it was about 2 months ago. And then the last item is an update on sales and use taxes. We recently received our first check for the 1920 fiscal year. We're off to a good start, and really that reflects a continuation of the positive trends for both of these revenue sources. Sales tax collections for July were up 4% from what they were a year ago, and use tax revenue was up about 40% from what it was in that same period a year ago. One thing that I think is really an important statistic that Warren pointed out, and that is since fiscal year 17-18, we have had only 1 month over the previous year month that did not identify positive growth. That's an impressive statistic and an encouraging one. So, combined sales and use tax revenue in the general fund was about 9.6% above last July, which really compares pretty favorably to the 10.3% percentage we ended with for the entire total last year.